Bodybuilding with a purpose. We are building our bodies, minds, and spirit to achieve a level of holistic growth. It's not about aesthetics and looking good. That's just a byproduct of the intrinsic attention we give ourselves, overcoming all challenges in pursuit of our greatest desire. Bodybuilding with a purpose. So far, that pretty much, you've been coaching and training, these teenagers from the age of 13, right? So what is your coaching philosophy with them? When, for instance, I have a 13-year-old approach you, like, how do you, mentor and guide them through the training and everything?
Absolutely. So the way I broke up the program is I do what I call 101 sessions, like kind of like school, right? Like math 101 type thing or whatever it may be.
Yes,
And
yes.
so I broke down the program into four sessions, which I call 101 sessions. And they're all focused around form, technique, and all the other things that come with weightlifting, like obviously like breathing and motivation, RPE, stuff like that.
Mm.
I kind of lost you on video here. Can you still hear me though?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Perfect. So yeah, so I broke up these days into 101 sessions. So day one would be like a quad dominant leg day. And so the kids will come in small group classes, only 5 kids at a time, because I want to make sure there's still good quality there. And I don't want like this huge class of 20 kids. And
Hmm.
so the quad day 101, it'll consist of obviously like your back squat, one of the big three lifts. And so they'll come in, I'll teach the form and technique when it comes to the back squat, and I'll also teach form and technique to all the accessories that go along with it, all the warm up and cool down modalities that come with it. So how to do injury prevention and how to stretch and do flexibility for everything else that comes with it. And
Wow.
so that'll be kind of like your day one. Day two will be your upper body push day. So that will consist of your bench press, which is your second lift for the big three lifts. It also consists of your shoulder press and all your other push movements, right? Along with your
Yes.
push movements comes with triceps as well. And so that'll be a day two. Day three will be an upper body pull movement day. So they'll come in and we'll learn how to do all the back movements like your lat pull downs, all your row variations, cool up, cool downs, and basically how to keep these shoulders nice and healthy. Like I said, for me, I have the shoulder injury myself. And so I really want to make sure that these kids don't have to go through the same thing that I did when I was growing up with these injuries. And then
Yes.
day four, which would be the last 101 session, will be another leg day, but it will be a hamstring dominant leg day. And so that they'll come in and we'll learn the deadlift. So obviously your third lift when it comes to the big three lifts, and they'll learn
Yes.
the form and technique when it comes to that and everything else that comes with it, all the accessories, warming up, cooling down, stretching, mobility, flexibility, and along with everything, man, they're going to learn motivation. They're going to learn proper mindset. They're going to learn how to push themselves beyond their comfort level. And I'm just here to build a better generation. So with these four
Yes.
101 sessions that they'll go through, they're going to have a much better solid foundation. And not only that, they're going to develop the confidence. So whenever they're in the gym by themselves, they don't have to be, like you said, influenced by these other people who might be doing it wrong, who might
Mm-hmm.
be bigger than them, but like they'll have more
Yes.
confidence to be like, you know what, I learned from a pro. I learned with these 101 sessions. Now I know I can safely go into the gym and be confident that what I am doing is the right way.
Yes, yes. No, I mean that again, I can tell you countless amount of time I see these young kids in the gym. Again, I don't know their source of influence, but you see them trying to lift the wrong way or trying to break, again, who to impress, I don't know, right? But you being able to do this, it requires a certain level of patience, right? Especially
100%.
with the teenagers, right? So I'm just curious, man, how do you deal or how do you manage that? How do you deal with that? Like,
I have two kids at home, right? I have a 4-year-old and I have an 8-month-old, and so
yes.
that requires patience beyond belief, right? And so,
Yes.
thankfully, teenagers are a lot easier to communicate with, and they actually know how to talk and make complete
Yeah.
sentences, and so
Yes.
it definitely makes it a lot easier. And like I said, these are smaller group classes, only 5 kids at a time. And
Mm.
so, it kind of makes more of a personal connection with them, and so it's easier to kind of talk to them rather than just talk over them, right? And
Yes.
so that's going to be the main thing right there, because I see a lot of people, they try to do these classes and they have 10 plus kids, and it just kind of just becomes chaotic. So when you have a smaller group setting, about 5 kids at a time, it makes it a lot
Yes.
easier to communicate and have them actually listen and pay attention thoroughly.
Wow, no, that is good. Have that, that connection right there, one on one. You can have, again, your attention definitely goes to each and every one of them, right? So
Absolutely.
overall, man, as a coach, coaching not just the teenagers, the first responders, what is one of the hardest or difficult challenges, you've encountered coaching this specific group of people, and how did you overcome that?
You know what? I think the hardest athletes are gonna be the most experienced athletes, if I'm being honest, because
Mm,
a lot of them are not really too coachable. A lot of them are stuck in their old ways. And
yes.
for instance, I'll get I have this older gentleman. He's in his 50s and he's been lifting for 30 plus years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's very stuck in his old ways. He's a very old school lifter, so he every time he comes to the gym, he never has water with him. He hates taking rests in between sets. He's like doing like 20, 30-second rests in between sets. His technique is very old school even when it comes to the bench pressing. Like when he first came to me, he was like bouncing the bar off his chest. And it took a lot of adjusting because whenever we try to teach new technique to somebody who's a lot more experienced, you kind of have to rewire the brain a little bit. And
Yes.
one thing that you'll kind of notice is that when these type of people start to get fatigued during their workouts, their body will revert back to what they know. And so it's up to the trainer to kind of like, I always say, I kind of become a broken record. I repeat myself a lot. And so it's up to us as a trainer to kind of make sure we're kind of beating the new technique into their brain
Yes.
and get a,
Yes.
and rewire it a little bit. But overall, like man, I think I just love what I do so much that I would
Mm,
never say any part of it is really hard, to be honest, man, because everyone is coachable as long as you know how to communicate with them.
yeah.
And me as a trainer, I think I've just been doing this for so long, I can pretty much talk to almost anybody now, right? I've
Wow.
dealt with so many people, so many different personalities and so many different backgrounds. I feel like I could kind
Mhm.
of talk to anybody on any level now. And so I feel like whether you're a super introvert or super extrovert, or you're super shy, or you're kind of an asshole, I could kind of I could kind of balance with
Yes.
everybody now when it
Yes.
comes to just being a good coach. And so yeah, I would never say any of it's really difficult now, but you know, I have the stubborn people. Definitely a lot of
Yes.
stubborn stubborn
Yes.
people that I run across, but overall, man, like I said, I truly love what I do, and it just comes with the job.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I mean, there's this saying that says if you love what you do, you never work in a day in your life, right?
Yeah, I
And
couldn't agree more with that. Absolutely.
yes, and this is it, man. No, that is especially when you were like people, the experienced coach, the experienced athletes are the hardest one to coach. That right there was just like, man, please tell me about it, because
Yeah.
again, it's like, oh, I know what I'm doing. Well, if you know what
Mhm.
you're doing, you don't need a coach, then, right?
Absolutely. There it is. I'm like, hey, man, you hired me for a reason, right? Let me help you out.
Exactly. No, that is good. So, doing this right here, coaching other people, and still yourself being an athlete, competing, how are
Mhm.
you able to balance that, that lifestyle right there, on stage and then coaching, how are you able to balance that?
Yeah, plus two kids, and
Yes.
I always tell I get that question a lot actually because I think when people learn my life, they're like, "How do you even sleep enough during the day? Like you have a newborn at home, you have a 4-year-old son that's in school and
Yes.
sports and all this stuff." And I'm like, you know what? I think I just love the chaos. If I'm being completely honest, my mind is always running 100 miles per hour, and I think I
Yes.
love a little bit of chaos in my life. If I ever have a chance to relax and sit down, I think
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing something wrong. I'm like, I need to be
Wrong.
doing something at all times.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So and but to be honest, everything just comes with proper planning.
Mm.
Everything comes with proper planning, and me and the wife, we make sure our schedules are lined up, and I make sure I have my meals ready. She knows what time of day I'm going to be working out during the week. We plan it around our work schedules because I'm a business owner, she's a business owner, so we always got to make sure
Nice.
that we keep everything balanced. Picking up the kids, dropping them off, make sure they're
Yes.
fed, and stuff like that, and obviously spending time as a family together. And so it just goes just with proper planning. I think any entrepreneur would tell you that, and to have a balanced life, you got to have a game plan set. And if you're kind of just winging it day by day, that's when things kind of spin out of control.
Mm, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Winging it day by day. Oh man, that right there. I mean, just like any other stuff, right? A lot of people, again, like you said, proper planning, right? Proper execution, perfect life right there. But without
Hmm.
that, then, it's going to be chaotic. We're kind of like the
Exactly.
same people, because that's the same to like me where, like right now, if I'm like resting, it's like, okay. My mind is just going like 500 miles per hour. Like, I'm supposed to be doing something right
And you
now.
feel a little guilty sometimes too, like, man, like
Yes.
why am I sitting down right now?
Yes, yeah, that is true. Even the days are like, oh, let me take a rest day. You feel
Hmm.
guilty, you're like,
Yes,
it doesn't exist. There shouldn't be any rest day right here.
I
You
agree.
know? No, that is beautiful. Thank you very much for sharing this, right? I
Of
mean,
course.
okay, another question, man. As an athlete, right now, and I know even as a coach, knowing what you know at this very moment, if you would go back to when you were 13, what
Hmm.
would you apply differently in your life to, and make you a better athlete or, better coach?
That's a good question. I actually never thought about that. That's a good question. I love that question.
Yes.
Man, I think I would just tell myself to slow down. To be
Mm,
honest, I think that'd be the main thing. I would tell myself to slow down and not be too eager to rush the process, because that's when you rush the process, you miss crucial details, and also you don't have a chance to sit back and appreciate what you've done and how far you've came.
mm,
I think I was in such a rush to get results as a kid. That's when injuries start to happen, and when people would compliment me, I never would accept the compliments as much as I should have, because I had a feeling I could always do more. And I
yes.
wish I wish I would have took more time to kind of sit back and really accept what they were telling me. I had a really
Yes.
bad body dysmorphia growing up, because, like I said, I kind of grew up overweight my entire life, and so
Hmm.
when people would tell me I looked good, I would be like, I could look better though. I could look better though. And so, yes, I think that would be my main advice to myself, if I could
Wow.
go and talk to my younger self, would be slow down, enjoy the process more, and really appreciate how far you've came.
Wow, no, man,
Yeah.
that touched my heart right there. I'll tell you that. Slow down and appreciate the work you've put in over time. That is everything because myself again, my business partner will do the same stuff. Coaching, mentoring people, and the people like patience, right?
Hmm.
People like patience, and this right here is a very great advice, not just to your younger self, but hopefully the young kids, adults, whoever is watching and listening to this, just slow down, right?
Yeah.
Trust in the process, like you said. And I wrote it down here. You're like, enjoying the process right there. How
Hmm.
do you coach your athlete to enjoy and trust the process? Trust the process, as you coaching them. Because sometimes some people come with this expectation of like, I go to the gym one day, boom, the next day I'm Mr. Olympia, or like, whatever it is, right? Even athletes stepping on stage, like, oh, I go my first competition pro card. Like, how do you
Yeah.
coach them through that process?
Man, yeah, to love the process is it comes different for every person, right? Some
Yes.
people they end up loving it after they're done with it, and that's one thing I kind of realized when I started to pick up a coach. You'll have some people that go on prep and they hate the process the entire time, but it's a dedication they made to themselves, right? And then
Yes.
after they step off stage when the show is over, they look back and they go, man, that was such a great experience. And sometimes it hits them after to realize that they put these grueling, tough, long weeks and months in, dedicated to one moment to step on stage for 5 to 10 minutes. And when they step off, that's when they finally truly start to appreciate the work that they've done. And sometimes that's what triggers the love for it, right?
Yes. Yes.
And but one thing I have noticed is people who have more athletic backgrounds, people who have played sports in the past, tend to love the process earlier on. And I think it's just kind of comes with the experience of competition and the
Yes.
experience of not having that instant gratification of every single practice, every single workout. And so that is one thing I've noticed, is that so when people come to me for coaching for a competition, a question I
Hmm.
will ask them is, did you play sports in high school? And if their answer is
Wow.
yes, I
Mm-hmm.
kind of mentally prepare myself like, okay, this person's probably gonna enjoy this process a little bit more. If their answer is no, I'm like, okay, this person might mentally struggle a little bit more than someone who has had a athletic background. Um, but for the most part, it comes out to each individual. But that is one thing I kind of tended to figure out throughout the years is people who have athletic backgrounds tend to
Yes.
enjoy the process earlier on, just because they kind of know what to expect when it
What to
comes
expect.
to having a coach put in the hard work, these long hours, and
Mhm.
waiting till the end of the process to have that gratification finally.
Yes, yes. Wow,
Yeah,
that
good, good,
that
good
that brings.
question.
No, thank you very much. I mean, that that right there you just put a whole purpose and a meaning to bodybuilding, and even the organization will compare with natural organization, right? Because a lot of people that they don't believe in atomic habits, right? They don't believe in they just today I want the result tomorrow, right?
Uh-huh.
And like the book I read, that Atomic Habit was like,
Yeah.
there's instant reward for bad habits, right? And then the
Hmm.
reward for good habit is delayed. But people
Yes.
like that patience right there, right? And speaking of natural bodybuilding, right? And you are what you do is pretty magnificent, amazing, teaching young kids at the age of 13, right? How do we, popularize this sort of natural bodybuilding? Advise them, hey, this is not good for you because it is popular out here. You find these grown adults advising young kids to go, go do this, go do that. So how do we, counter that?
Yeah, man. I can't even tell you how many times I was offered steroids growing up as a kid.
Mm.
And by people I didn't even know. By people I didn't even know.
Wow,
Like,
wow.
I'd be like 17, 18 years old, and you figure at the age of 17, I already had, 4 or 5 years under my belt of lifting. And so
Yeah.
I had a pretty decent looking physique, and people will come up to me like, "Hey, man, if you ever want to get bigger, just let me know. I got the good stuff and yada yada yada."
Wow.
And yeah, man, when it comes to guiding these kids, I think it's up to us as natural athletes to prove and to show them firsthand what is possible when it comes to the natural physique and not to give unrealistic expectations, right?
Yes.
Like when somebody looks at me, I'll be like, dude, like this took 20 years to make. 20 years, and that's a long time. A lot of people don't wait 20 years for anything, right?
Yes.
And so we live in a generation of now because of technology, right? Like when you can get food delivered in 10 minutes, you don't have to leave the couch no more, right? Like internet
Yes.
is super
Yes.
fast, information is super fast. You have Chat GPT that gives you an answer just by talking to your phone now. We
Yes.
live in a generation of fast pace and now, and when it comes to fitness, that's still the only thing, if you do it naturally, that takes
Hmm.
time. And
Yes.
you know, um no disrespect to anybody who takes steroids. If you to each their own, man. If you take it, to each their own. More
Yes.
power to you. Just understand the risk that comes involved with it as well, right?
Hmm.
And one thing that helped me stay away from steroids
Yes.
is I would tell myself I'm going to put my health at risk for bigger muscles. Like when you say that in your head, you're gonna put your health and life at risk just for bigger muscles. That sounds really stupid.
It, yes,
It
it
sounds
does.
really, really dumb.
Yes.
Knowing you could do it naturally and still look great, right? Because the thing is, like a lot of these kids, they're jumping on at the age of 18, 19, 20, and they have no idea what their natural genetic potential is, right? They look at their parents who never worked out a day in their life and they just assume, like, oh, I have bad genetics. It's like, well, your
Hmm.
parents never worked out. They never actually weight trained. You don't know what your genetics are. You don't know the type of potential that you have. And
Yes.
so, take those 5 to 10 years to really put on and pack on some natural muscle. And I guarantee you'll be so happy with yourself that steroids won't even be on your mind. Because
Yes.
like I said, I've had that question countless number of times for people who ask me if I wanted to take them, or people who have asked me if I truly am lifetime natural. And like for me, I'm like, the thought of steroids has never even been seducing to me at all at
Mm.
any point in my life, even when I was a kid. Like when I thought of steroids, it never even tempted me in any way, shape, or form because I
Yes.
was enjoying the process so much of doing it naturally that I was like, I
Yes.
don't even care. Like, I don't even care
Mm.
for to even take a steroid to do it faster. I go, I'm enjoying this process so much that if it takes 20 years, I'm totally okay with that. If it takes 30 years, I'm totally okay with that. Just because I just love
Yes.
doing this. And
Yes.
it really comes down to why people are working out in the first place. Like for me, I started to work out because I just wanted to be healthier. I was tired of being overweight. I was sick and
Mhm.
tired of being sick and tired, and I wanted to
Yes.
just to live a healthier life. And so if I was to take steroids, that's counterintuitive of the reason why I started fitness,
Yes.
because I'm literally
Yes.
putting out poison in my body. And so for me, the overall goal, it just didn't make sense to have steroids in my plan.
Yes, yes. Oh man, thank you. You know, you definitely you are good at this. I'll tell you, as you're talking, I get inspired by just your life overall, man. Because number one, just even competing with with the INBA, PNBA, we get to see people in their 70s,
Yeah,
amazing shape. Like
amazing.
I'm like, when I look at these old guys, sometimes they're like, yeah, I'm 65. I'm like, there's no way, right? But to just look at them as a source of inspiration, like knowing that okay, it's all about the longevity, man. It's not about the instant graphics, the instant reward, right? Like no,
Right.
it's all about that, right? I mean,
We hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, please let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you.